Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Immigration Fridays. I am Prashanthi, your host, an immigration attorney. I'm here to help you navigate the complex world of U.S. immigration law. Today, we'll look into a crucial topic, the H1B visa interview. If you were lucky enough to get selected under the cap, congratulations. That's a big milestone, but there's another step that you have to take. If you're outside the country, you'll have to go for a visa interview. It's where everything comes together. So for many, it can feel like a nerve-wracking process. Good news, with the right preparation, you can walk in feeling confident and walk out with a visa. So first and foremost, let's talk about the mindset that you should have. Remember, the consular officer is looking to verify the information in your petition and ensure that you meet all those requirements for the H1B visa. They're not there to trick you. Your goal is to be honest, clear, concise, and confident. So, honesty is the key. Never lie or exaggerate. Inconsistencies between your interview answers and your petition documents can raise major red flags and it could lead to the denial of your visa. Always be direct when you're answering. Don't volunteer information that's not asked. Be concise and be prepared to elaborate if required. Professionality matters. Dress professionally, arrive early, and maintain a polite demeanor at all points. First impressions always count. Speak clearly. Enunciate your words and speak at a moderate pace. If you have any difficulty understanding the question, don't hesitate to ask the officer to repeat themselves or to rephrase the question. Remember, the interview duration can last from a few minutes to much longer, depending on your case. So stay calm and collected throughout the process. Now, let's talk a little bit about what you need to bring to the interview because this is your arsenal. Having all the documents organized and easily accessible will really help you go through your interview process smoothly. First, of course, you have to have a valid passport, so ensure that the passport is valid for at least 6 months uh, beyond the visa appointment date. And you have to have a DS 160 confirmation page. That's the DS 160 ones that you fill out online and then your confirmation page that you get once you filled it out. You need a visa appointment confirmation page. Of course, you have to take the original I-797 approval. That's your H1B approval. And if you have any previous approvals, take those as well. Your approved LCA, copy of the approved certified LCA, offer letters, make sure it has all the details in there, the job title, duties, salary, and the employment terms. Of course, you have to take your original educational documents, so your original degrees and transcripts. And if it's a foreign degree, make sure you get an evaluation done. Take a resume, make sure your resume is correct. If you are doing, especially if you are doing a work experience evaluation, which means that you don't qualify based on only your degree, then you need to take work experience letters as well. And try to take originals of these if you have them. Your company support letter or the petitioner letter, which outlines your job duties. That's part of the I-129 petition, so you should take your entire petition. Company information, you should consider taking maybe a website printout and be ready to answer any questions with reference to the company, number of employees, uh, nature of business of the company, and if you have information about the finances, and if they ask this, then you should take that information as well, such as their revenue, etc. If you are filing for a transfer, which means that you've already worked in the US and then you are applying for a visa on your vacation time, going back home and applying, but you're actually living in the US, then make sure you take status documentation to show that you've been maintaining your status throughout. If you're on an F1, that could be a letter from the school. If you are on a H1, it could be latest pay stubs. Also, last but not the least, make sure you take passport size photographs and they make sure they meet all the requirements for a US visa. So organizing all these documents in a professional folder or a binder will help you quickly retrieve the documents upon the officer's request to avoid loose papers or stapled documents. Now let's talk a little bit about what are the possible questions that the officer can ask you at the interview. Some of the personal questions that they can ask you are: have you visited the US before? If so, when and for what purpose? Make sure you answer that truthfully and correctly. Do you have any family members in the US? Again, if you do, make sure you say that you do. Usually, they only require you to state the family members who are immediate relatives. What are your plans for after your H1B validity period ends? This basically, you are expected to say that you will return to your country because you cannot stay beyond your authorized period of stay. They might ask you, are you married? Do you have dependents? Will they join you if you're not taking your dependents with you for a dependent visa? Then, with reference to your educational background, they might ask questions such as: what is your highest level of education? Where did you study? How does your education relate to the job? So you have to be prepared to answer that. You could say that, for example, you have a bachelor's in computer science and your job is that of a software developer, and the developer position requires a bachelor's degree in computer science, and you can maybe show them your transcripts and show how each course is related if they require you to do that. They might ask to see the degree certificates and the transcripts. They will also ask you questions on employment and on your role. So they may say, who is your sponsoring employer? What does your company do? So that's a brief description of the business. How did you find this position? So you have to respond that maybe you found it through a friend, or maybe you applied uh, and responded to their advertisement. Maybe you did that through Monster or Jobs, an online posting. Whatever it might be, you have to respond as to why, how you found the position. They want to make sure that it was not a bogus application and that there is actually a valid job offer. They might ask, what will your job title be? What are your daily responsibilities? Make sure you get that from your LCA and your petitioner letter and make sure all that information aligns. What is your annual salary? That should align with your LCA as well. Where will you be working? So this is your work site. That has to align with your LCA as well. Who will your supervisor be? Uh, this might be your employer if it's a small company. It might be the CEO of the company, of your company. So if it's someone else, then you have to have information on that. How many people are there in your team? If you know that, you should respond. Will you have anyone reporting to you? Again, respond and please make sure you look through the petitioner letter to see if that information is there. Your skills: what is your computer languages or specialized skills that you possess that is relevant to the job? Again, this should be in the petitioner letter. Make sure you look at it and respond accordingly. Also, they might ask questions about: how many employees does your company have? What is the annual turnover? This is not, they don't expect you to know this, so those questions are not that common. But whatever the questions might be, it's important that you practice your questions out loud. Have a friend or family member role play the interview with you. This helps, refine your responses, makes you more comfortable. And remember to connect your qualifications and your experience to your job duties. So have a response prepared for you. To wrap things up, here are some critical tips for your H1B visa interview. Review your petition thoroughly. Read and understand every detail of your H1B petition in LCA. Your answers have to be consistent. Don't take any electronic devices, your phones, smartwatches, etc. Leave them in your locker. Stay calm and confident at all times. It's natural to be nervous, but project confidence and be calm. Have a composed demeanor that will leave a good impression. Don't argue or volunteer too much information. If the officer seems skeptical, don't get defensive. Simply answer the questions that are being asked clearly and concisely. And of course, follow instructions at all times. Preparing for your H1 interview is about being organized, knowing your case inside out, and presenting yourself confidently. It's a significant step towards your professional journey in the US, and I have complete faith in you that you will be able to do it, and I hope these tips were useful. But if you have any specific questions about your H1 interview or you need personalized guidance, don't hesitate to reach out to me, Prashanthi at readyesq.com, or you can book a consultation on my website, www.readyesq.com. And that's all for this episode of Immigration Fridays. If you found this helpful, please like the video, subscribe to our channel for more valuable immigration insights, and share it with your friends. See you next Friday.